First of all, I would like to thank members of the press for covering this press conference today. It's really greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining us. Here along with me today, I want to introduce Rosario. She's the attorney who represents the Mary Hahn family. I want to introduce former Albuquerque Police Department Detective Sergeant Thomas Grover, and former Officer Rob McCutcheon is also joining me today. Last week, I, like many other people in Albuquerque, were shocked and appalled by the Attorney General's findings relating to the November 18, 2010 investigation of Mary Hahn's death. On a personal note, I knew Mary Hahn. I had cases with her when we were adversaries. She was a true force of nature. She was an exceptional attorney, and she was a very strong advocate for civil rights. She was deeply missed. I'm here in support of the Hahn's family's quest for justice for Mary Hahn. No one deserves to have the investigation into the death of a loved one handled in a manner so incompetent, so callous, and so cavalier. It was inconsiderate and unprofessional for dozens of people to contaminate a death scene in the way that they did, especially the Albuquerque Police Department. And this is yet another in a series of serious missteps by the Albuquerque Police Department administration in which we see no reaction whatsoever from the mayor. The fact is, how much longer can this go on? This mismanagement and failures identified in the Attorney General's report are appalling. The report identified mishandling evidence, personnel interference, removing evidence from the insufficient witness interviews, and inaccurate labeling of the investigation as a suicide. The bottom line findings is that the mayor, Ray Schultz, and the interim chief Banks, and many other top-ranking officials oversaw a massive failure and a breakdown that saw no consequences and saw no disciplinary action taken. I am deeply and gravely concerned with the complacency shown by Mayor Berry regarding the hugely botched investigation that happened on his watch. Instead of cleaning house and taking action against those who flagrantly violate the lead officer on the scene, Ellen Banks, has been to interim chief of the Albuquerque Police Department. And we also have city attorney at the time, Rob Perry, who was elevated to the position of administrative officer. The Attorney General report reflects that Ellen Banks and other top officials failed to follow standard operating procedures and protocols and mishandled evidence, into custody, and violated standard operating procedures. Failed to secure the scene. This is why I am calling for the convening of a special grand jury and an investigation and the appointment of a special prosecutor. Calling for the Attorney General, or for that matter, the district, to go ahead and appoint a special prosecutor and to request grand jury time so that we can get to the bottom of what happened that evening. This is the way that we will get to the bottom of what happened and what played by the various individuals that were there that evening. We all have the responsibility to go under oath and give a full accounting of what happened tonight. And they can be compelled to testify. We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to have justice for Mary Hahn. In order to begin the process of restoring confidence and trust in the Albuquerque Police Department, we must have full transparency and accountability on a very important investigation. That is why I'm also calling the mayor to immediately place those involved in the events and to put these individuals on immediate leave. That is Interim Chief Banks, T.J. William, as well as Chief Officer Rob Perry. I also reiterate my call to Barry to cancel the consulting contract that he has with Ray Schultz. The mayor also must be held accountable for what happened that evening. He needs to answer some very important questions. Basically, what was the mayor told that evening, and by whom? Why were the top city officials, including the Chief Public Safety Officer, White, City Attorney Rob Perry, as well as Chief Public Safety, T.J. Williams. Why were they at the scene? That's that really begs an answer. Here we had three very top scenes at a scene, a death scene, and there's been no explanation as to why they were there. Darren White, Rob Perry, T.J. Williams. Also, was the mayor ever sent photographs of the, and also did receive those photographs of the city cell? Why did the mayor allow the crime scene to be compromised when he ordered non-essential personnel off the scene? Mayor was the only one that had direct control over Darren White, and he could have ordered him to be removed from the premises. Why was no disciplinary action taken against any one of these individuals? And why were they clearly violating standard operating procedures? Throughout this entire case, Mayor Barry has shown a failure of leadership and has completely mismanaged the police. As mayor, I will restore respect and accountability to the Albuquerque, and I will hire a chief that will move the force ahead so that we can begin rebuilding the department. The mayor has a lot to answer for, and I would hope that when him on the street that they will confront him with the questions regarding this investigation. The fact remains there are many questions that are left unanswered. For the mayor to be held accountable, but more importantly to hold those individuals they placed in charge to hold them accountable for their actions. With that, I will go ahead and ask Rosario, Vega, the attorney who represents the Hahn family, for comment. The goal is to hopefully seek justice for Mary Hahn. The only way we're going to accomplish that is with a grand jury investigation.
Thank you.
Your name, ma'am?
Rosario, Vega-Lynn. The Hahn family would just like to express their gratitude to Attorney King and to Mr. Dinelli for taking this seriously. They have been trying to get answers since Ms. Hahn died on November 8, 2010 and have so far been unsuccessful. That is last Friday when the Attorney General decided to come out with the. We would also like to see OMI, APD cooperate with the Attorney General's office and have the departmental cooperation to get to find out what really happened to Mary. We'd like the death certificate changed. Any other state, that would have been automatic. To see Dr. Zumwalt contact the Attorney General's office. We'd like to see Dr. Paul Roth, who oversees OMI, also contact the Attorney General's office, so at least they could meet, discuss, and possibly change that death certificate, as the Attorney General is recommending that they do that. With that, all we have to say at this point, it's right now still in litigation, and the facts will come out sooner or later.
Your name? My name's Thomas Grover. Just have a brief statement. I'm here not as an advocate for Mr. Dinelli or Mr. Hay. I'm here justice. I'm here because on November 18, 2010, I was a cop. And on that day, Mary Hahn was found deceased in her car house here in the valley. She was found in a scene so contrived and still that even a rookie cop could tell it was not a suicide or an accident. She was dressed and packed and ready to go to the gym. The car had its windows down. The lifeless body was draped across the front seat of the car. Her diamond and missing. With the actions of APD and city brass which followed before my eyes as I was a first responder continue to haunt me, never cease to terrify me. Such egregious conduct while I work there on these very streets, none by the highest level of APD and city personnel. Conduct that violated not only department rules and regulations, but basic of decency, morality, and values we hold and cherish as the United States. Conduct that stole the truth of what happened to her family and from her loved ones. That's a hard thing for me to grasp, because as a cop, you need to believe in the rule of law. It means you believe in a government that enforces laws regardless of the victim or the offender. Being a cop means we do things the same way each time and every time, because the victim happens to be a successful civil rights lawyer who is outspoken in the very department which responded to her scene. It means we do what regardless of the consequences. It means police commissioners, deputy chiefs, city attorneys, the public safety director, the public information officers don't abuse their authority like they did that day to dock, take pictures, steal items, order regular cops out of the scene, and make such a mess that a tragedy becomes an atrocity. Cop, I don't leave good people and friends behind, and since November 18, 2010, I have never left Mary Hahn behind me. I support and embrace the State Attorney General and his findings in his report. I support a grand jury style investigation into the actions and conduct of APD brass and city executives on the days following the Mary murder. So many, as this report confirms, so many deviations of duty and violations of conduct do not just happen. They occur through deliberate actions and intentional. Because of these actions, these people who are supposed to be the leaders of the PD and the city stole the truth of what happened on November 18, 2000. Those responsible for the gruesome misconduct and interference should have been a homicide investigation and not held accountable for their actions. And those that lead the department are telling the person or persons responsible that they indeed can get away with murder. The time has come for this grand jury needs to be convened, and the time has come to get married.
Mr. Grover, can you tell us what you did at the home?
You know, that's my statement. I'm not going to take individual questions. I'd like to just let my stand there as that what I've said is fully documented in reports and in previous encounters with the media.
I'll take any questions you may have.
When you mention grand jury, are you foreseeing this as a federal grand jury investigation, a state level grand jury investigation? What's that look like in your mind?
State grand jury investigation, followed by the Attorney General's office, I think is the most logical step. General King has extensive investigation in cooperation with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And I think that he has the authority to ask for grand jury time. He has the authority to appoint a special prosecutor. And I believe this is where we're going to get to the bottom of this by calling every individual there to testify before a grand jury under oath. The reports that that upwards to 50 people were at that site that evening. Conflicting information as to what happened with evidence, what happened with the scene. And I believe the only way you're going to get to the bottom of it is you have a grand jury.
The Attorney General has said that his investigation didn't turn up any criminal activity ever that he felt like he could go forward with charges on. Do you think a criminal grand jury style investigation is appropriate in light of that?
Investigatory grand jury, and what you would do is you would call the individuals that were there that evening, find out their version of what happened, and if it in fact reveals some sort of criminal activity, they would have to go forward and target an individual.
About a house that was full of cops, to what degree is the leader of the city a civilian? Granted, a civilian leader of all this, but still a civilian guy. How culpable is the mayor for a scene like that where apparently in a law enforcement officials may have been out of line?
Well, normally that's the case, but first of all, it wasn't just cops. There were a lot of civilians that were invited in that would also work for the Albuquerque Police Department and other parts of the city. Second of all, what makes this different is the fact that you had Chief Public Safety Officer Darren as well as Chief Banks that were on the scene. The only individual that had authority over Darren White was the mayor. But also the mayor apparently was contacted regarding the investigation. And he was notified of what was going on. It's my understanding cell phone records to the effect that he was contacted. I think this mayor needs to disclose what did he know and when did he know. What was he told? Was he in fact sent photographs of the scene? And by virtue of being mayor of Albuquerque, he had to make sure that he could have issued orders that White get off the property, he could have issued orders that Banks get off the property, and he could have instructed that department to conduct a full-scale investigation. He has actually been brought into the process by virtue of the actions of his high-ranking individuals. Rob Perry was also there that evening. Rob Perry advised the mayor of what was going on. Why were these there? Why was Rob Perry there? He was the city attorney. For what reason would you have the city attorney go to a crime like that? Or to go to a death scene like that? also the chief public safety officer. And that's where there's the involvement. It stops at the mayor's office. And it's time for this mayor to be accountable for the actions of his subordinates. Thank you very much for covering this. Thank you.